All right, welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're going to be talking about operational excellence in the AWS cloud.
Okay.
We'll be using the AWS Well-Architected Framework white paper to kind of guide our conversation.
Yeah.
Operational excellence, I mean, it doesn't maybe at first sound super exciting, but hopefully we can make it a little more interesting.
Sure.
And really, I think the interesting part is how AWS shifts the perspective on IT operations, which, frankly, in the past has often been very tedious.
Yeah, very, very siloed.
And how they turn it into really a dynamic continuous improvement process, which is quite a bit different than the way that operations have traditionally been done.
Right. Instead of thinking about it as like this silo, it's woven into every stage of the cloud journey.
Yeah.
And the AWS Well-Architected Framework really lays out a nice path with three key phases: prepare, operate, and evolve.
Right.
And they all have the same goal. And that's not just keeping the lights on, but understanding your business and customer needs to achieve the desired outcomes.
Yeah, so it's not just about technology. It's really about strategy alignment.
Exactly. Think of it as setting a compass for your cloud journey.
Okay, so let's dive into that first phase, prepare.
Okay.
And it seems logical that it begins with defining operational priorities.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You need a shared understanding across your teams of the workload, the business goals, and ultimately how those translate into actionable priorities.
Yeah.
And luckily, AWS has a number of different tools to help you with that.
Right.
Trusted Advisor is one that acts like a guide, helping you spot potential issues and make informed decisions very early on.
So even in the prepare phase, we're not just theorizing, we're using tools to get a clearer picture of what we need to be thinking about.
Precisely.
Okay.
So once those priorities are set, the next step is designing for operations.
Yeah.
This is where the everything is code philosophy of AWS really shines.
Okay, yeah. Everything is code. It's a term we hear all the time, but what does that actually mean in practice?
So it means treating your entire infrastructure, your servers, databases, networks, everything as code.
Okay.
And tools like AWS CloudFormation allow you to create templates. Think about them like blueprints
Yeah.
for your infrastructure that you can version and manage just like software code.
Okay.
And this has huge implications because now you can actually prevent what's called configuration drift, ensuring consistent deployment every time.
Right. So this sounds incredibly efficient and also less prone to human error, which is, always a good thing.
Exactly. Plus, imagine easily rebuilding your entire environment in case of a disaster.
Yeah.
It also makes collaboration much smoother because everybody's working from the same set of blueprints.
Right.
But there are challenges, of course. Managing complex templates can be tricky. And you really need skilled automation engineers to make the most of this approach.
So it's not a magic bullet.
No.
But it's certainly a powerful approach with potentially significant benefits.
Right.
Okay.
And everything as code ties directly into another critical aspect of the prepare phase, continuous integration and continuous deployment, or CI/CD.
Yeah, sometimes I get a little tripped up on the acronyms. Can you maybe break that down for us a little bit?
Sure.
CI/CD.
Yeah. So think of it as a pipeline. Continuous integration is all about merging code changes frequently and running automated tests to catch those errors early.
Okay.
Continuous deployment takes it a step further by automating the release of those changes to your live environment. This means you can push out features and updates much faster with less risk.
Okay, so it's about streamlining the development and deployment process.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And this continuous approach relies heavily on the next element, which is logging, instrumentation, and metrics.
Okay.
Essentially, we need to have comprehensive visibility into how our systems are behaving.
Yeah, so we're not just setting things up and, hoping for the best. We're equipping ourselves with the tools to monitor and understand what's happening.
You got it. And tools like CloudWatch and X-Ray provide that real-time insight.
Yeah.
Imagine a dashboard showing you performance, resource usage, potential bottlenecks, all in a visual, easy-to-grasp format.
Right, like a health monitor for the entire cloud infrastructure.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. That brings us to the final element of the prepare phase, operational readiness.
Okay.
What exactly does that entail?
Think of it as ensuring you're truly ready to launch.
Yeah.
It's about having checklists, consistent processes, and those all-important run books and playbooks.
Right.
Run books are like step-by-step recipes for routine activities, while playbooks are more like troubleshooting guides for specific issues.
Right.
Having these in place ensures consistent responses, minimizes downtime, and reduces the chance of human error.
Right. So it's about being prepared for both the expected and the unexpected.
And here's where it gets even more interesting. AWS encourages what are called pre-mortem exercises.
Pre-mortem.
Uh,
That sounds almost counterintuitive. Tell me more.
It's a fantastic way to anticipate failure. Imagine gathering your team and saying, okay, let's pretend our project has completely failed. What could have led to this?
Right.
By working backwards and identifying those potential causes, you can proactively address those weaknesses.
Yeah.
I remember one project where the pre-mortem actually helped us identify a single point of failure in our architecture.
Wow.
We made a simple change, and it potentially saved us from a major outage down the road.
That's a clever approach. So instead of fearing failure, we're embracing it as a learning opportunity.
Exactly. And AWS provides tools like Lambda Config and Systems Manager to help you automate these preemptive actions, further reducing human error and ensuring consistency.
So in the prepare phase, we're not just setting up the infrastructure and tools, we're really fostering this proactive mindset, anticipating challenges, and establishing processes for success. But that's just the beginning, right?
Right.
What happens once we move from prepare to actually operating our workload in the cloud?
That's where things get even more dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Let's dive into the operate phase.
Oh.
All right, so we've meticulously prepared our cloud environment.
Yeah.
And now it's time to shift gears and focus on the operate phase.
Okay, so we built our system, configured all our tools.
Right.
And now it's showtime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the work doesn't stop there.
Right.
In fact, the operate phase is all about continuous monitoring,
Yeah.
analysis, and response.
So that sounds like a lot of data to keep track of.
Yeah.
How do we even begin to make sense of all of it?
Well, that's where the principle of understanding operational health comes in.
Okay.
Remember all those logging and monitoring tools we set up in the prepare phase?
Yeah.
Now they become our eyes and ears.
Yeah.
CloudWatch dashboards, for example, they transform raw data into visual representations of key metrics.
Okay.
Imagine having this control panel,
Right.
giving you a real-time view of your workload's performance, resource utilization, and potential bottlenecks.
Right. So we're not just looking at numbers on a spreadsheet. We're getting this clear visual overview of what's happening.
Precisely.
Okay.
And this data-driven approach, it helps us move from reactive firefighting to proactive management.
Right.
We can spot trends, identify anomalies,
Yeah.
address potential issues before they impact our users.
Okay. So that's a huge game changer.
Yeah.
But what about those, unexpected events that always seem to pop up? How do we handle those in the operate phase?
Well, this is where our run books and playbooks, which we meticulously crafted in the prepare phase,
Yeah.
prove their worth.
Right.
Remember, run books are like recipes for routine tasks,
Yeah.
and playbooks guide us through specific incidents
Okay.
or troubleshooting scenarios.
Okay.
Having these predefined procedures ensures consistent, efficient responses.
Right.
It minimizes downtime.
Yeah.
And reduces the chance of human error.
Right. So instead of, panicking when something goes wrong, we've got this clear plan of action.
Exactly. And the beauty of AWS is that many of these responses can actually be automated.
Right.
CloudWatch events can trigger Lambda functions to automatically scale resources up or down.
Okay.
Based on real-time demand, SNS can send notifications to the right teams
Right.
when specific events occur.
So it's almost like having a safety net built into our system.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. But I'm also curious about, the role of AWS itself in this phase.
Yeah.
How do they help ensure operational health?
Well, AWS plays a crucial role through what's called the shared responsibility model.
Okay.
AWS takes care of the underlying infrastructure, ensuring its availability and security.
Okay.
But we as users are responsible for securing and managing our applications and data
Right.
within that infrastructure.
So it's really a collaborative effort
Exactly.
with each party playing this distinct but interconnected role.
Exactly. And to maintain transparency, AWS provides the Service Health Dashboard, SHD, and the Personal Health Dashboard, PHD.
Okay.
These dashboards give us real-time updates on the status of AWS services and any events that might impact our workload.
Okay.
And that information allows us to make informed decisions and take proactive steps
Right.
to mitigate those potential issues.
So even in the operate phase, we're not, operating in isolation. We've got this visibility into, the broader AWS ecosystem
Exactly.
and can adjust our operations accordingly.
Precisely. But operating a workload, it isn't just about keeping things running smoothly, right?
Right.
It's also about constantly seeking ways to improve, to optimize,
Yeah.
to evolve.
Right.
And that leads us to the final phase of the AWS Well-Architected Framework, evolve.
Okay, so that's where we turn all of those insights we've gathered into actionable improvements.
Right.
Okay, so we're back and we're ready to explore this final phase of operational excellence in AWS. Evolve. We've prepared our environment, we're operating our workload, but it doesn't end there, right?
No, it's a continuous cycle. In the evolve phase, we shift our focus to learning from our experiences, both the successes and the failures.
Right.
And we use those insights to make our operations even better over time.
So we're not just maintaining the status quo. We're really actively seeking improvement.
Exactly. And the first step in that evolution is learning from experience. Remember CloudTrail, the service that tracks API activity across our AWS account?
Yeah.
Well, that data becomes incredibly valuable in this phase. We can analyze those logs to identify trends, spot potential bottlenecks, uncover security vulnerabilities, and even determine the root causes of past incidents.
Right. So it's like having a detective's logbook for our entire cloud environment.
Precisely. And we can take this analysis even further by using tools like Amazon Elasticsearch Service and Kibana.
Okay.
These tools allow us to visualize the data, create interactive dashboards, and uncover insights that might not be obvious from raw logs.
So we're moving beyond simple monitoring to deep analysis, pattern recognition.
Right. And once we've extracted those valuable insights, the next step is sharing learnings. This is where that everything is code philosophy extends beyond infrastructure.
Okay, so you mean we're sharing knowledge and best practices as code.
Exactly. Imagine creating a library of reusable CloudFormation templates that encapsulate best practices for security, scalability, performance.
Right.
These templates can then be shared across teams, ensuring consistency and accelerating the adoption of those best practices.
Okay, so instead of reinventing the wheel every time, teams can leverage each other's expertise and build upon proven solutions.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And to manage access to those shared resources, we use AWS Identity and Access Management,
Right.
or IAM.
Right.
And that ensures that only authorized individuals can access sensitive information or make changes to critical components of the infrastructure.
So we're fostering collaboration, but also maintaining security and control at the same time.
Exactly. And this continuous cycle of learning, sharing, and evolving is what ultimately drives operational excellence in the AWS cloud.
Yeah, so it really is, it's not a destination, it's a journey of continuous improvement. But how do we know if we're on the right track? What are some signs that we're truly embracing the principles of operational excellence?
That's a great question. One key indicator is automation. Are we automating those repetitive tasks? Are we using tools like Lambda to trigger actions based on real-time data? Another sign is data-driven decision making.
Yeah.
Are we leveraging CloudWatch, CloudTrail, and other tools to gather insights and make informed decisions?
Yeah, so it's not just about gut feeling, it's about using the data to really guide our actions.
Precisely. And finally, it's about culture. Is our organization embracing that mindset of continuous improvement? Are we encouraging experimentation?
Yeah.
Learning from failures and sharing those learnings across teams?
Right. So operational excellence isn't just about technology. It's really about people and processes.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
about creating an environment where everyone is empowered to contribute to that continuous improvement.
Well, this has been a incredibly insightful deep dive. I think I'm starting to understand why you find operational excellence so fascinating. It's not just about keeping the lights on. It's really about building resilient, efficient, and continuously evolving systems that empower businesses to really thrive in the cloud.
Well said. And remember, the principles we've discussed today: prepare, operate, and evolve. They're not limited to AWS.
Right.
They can be applied to any project, any team, any organization striving for operational excellence in any environment.
Yeah, that's a great takeaway for our listeners. So before we wrap up, what's the one key message you'd like everyone to remember from this deep dive?
Embrace that mindset of continuous improvement. Never stop learning, never stop experimenting, and never stop seeking ways to make your operations better.
Great advice. And for those who want to delve deeper into the AWS Well-Architected Framework, we'll include a link in the show notes. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into operational excellence in AWS. Until next time, keep learning, keep experimenting, and keep striving for excellence in everything you do.